A trip across the United States with Carla. Getting ready. Hi, I'm Carla, and I want to show you the pictures that I took on a trip across the United States. But before I do, let's look at the United States on one of my favorite things, a map. The United States is a country. A country is an area of land and the people who live there. What makes it a country is that the people who live there have their own leaders who are different from the leaders of other countries. The United States is part of a larger area called a continent. There are 7 continents in the world: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. Can you guess which continent the United States is on? You can find it on this map. That's right, in North America. The country of the United States is made up of 50 smaller parts called states. A group of states that are near each other make up a region. The 5 regions of the United States are the Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, Southwest, and West. I went to at least one state in every region, and I found something really interesting everywhere I went. I began my trip in the West. Then I went to the Southeast. From there, I traveled through a few states in the Midwest, and then I went to the Northeast and the Southeast. Let's take a look. The wonderful West. I started my trip in the state of California. It's next to the Pacific Ocean, so it's got a lot of beaches. California has deserts, big mountains too, and lots of farmlands. It also has forests of redwoods, the tallest trees on Earth. Next, I went to another state in the West, Colorado. There, the mountains, they're super tall, and the capital city, Denver, is called the Mile High City. That's because the land it's on is a mile above sea level. Whenever I travel around the United States, I'm always amazed at how different the weather can be in different places. In the deserts of California, it can get really hot. But in the mountains of Colorado, it can get cold and snowy. And guess what? I moved. Colorado is where I live. I was born there, but my grandmother came from the country of Mexico. The people who come to the United States from other countries often bring music, traditions, and food from their own cultures. The sensational Southwest. Next, I zoomed down to the Southwest. I went to Arizona and visited the Hopi The Hopi are some of the first people to live in Arizona, and they still live there today. There are a lot of American Indian nations throughout the United States. American Indians were the first people to live on this continent. Since then, people have come here from all over the world. The Grand Canyon National Park is in Arizona. The United States has many national parks with almost every kind of landscape, from mountains and deserts to canyons and forests. The Great Midwest. Then I went to the Midwest. Do you know how the land there is mostly flat? And there's grass as far as you can see. This type of land is called a prairie. The hot, humid summers and rich soil here are great for farming. You can see a lot of cattle ranches in the Midwest too. Look at the picture of a cowboy herding cattle. And this prairie dog across the prairie. Farmers in the Midwest plant crops like oats, corn, and wheat. Wheat is used in making bread. The big city of Chicago is also in the Midwest. It's in the state of Illinois. Chicago is known as the Windy City. Some people think it got that name because of the strong winds that blow from Lake Michigan. The city is also known for deep dish pizza. A feast in the East. Next on my trip was a visit to the Northeast and the Southeast. There are a lot of states in the East, and many of them are along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. You can find all kinds of land in the East, like mountains, valleys, farmland, and even swamps. During the fall, leaves change color in the northeast state of Vermont. And the Everglades in the southeast of Florida is a huge swamp, and it's home to many alligators. One of my favorite things to do in the Northeast is to try different foods here. The state of Maine is famous for its lobsters, and the state of Vermont is known for its maple syrup. The people who live in New York City, in New York, where I used to live, come from many different cultures. So you could have French food for breakfast, Italian for lunch, and African for dinner. Look at this fisherman in Maine catching lobsters. Maple sap collected from maple trees. The sap is made into maple syrup. There are lots of delicious foods in the Southeast, too. In the state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans is famous for the special flavors and ingredients used in food there. A stew called jambalaya has ingredients that are used in Spanish, French, and African food. New Orleans is also the place where jazz music was invented. Some of the other states in the Southeast are Virginia, South Carolina, Alabama. And the weather in the Southeast is warm in the summer and not too cold in the winter. Well, that makes it a great place to grow things like Georgia peaches and Florida oranges. These Georgia peaches really look delicious. Florida is famous for its orange groves. Besides the 50 states, the United States also has one special city where the leaders of the country make important decisions. It's Washington, D.C., and it's the capital of the United States. Washington, D.C. is also in the east. Let's take a look. The first thing I did was go to the White House. It's where the president lives with his or her family. The president works in the White House too. The Capitol building is also in Washington, D.C. Leaders from all 50 states meet at the Capitol to make the country's laws. I also didn't want to miss all the monuments in Washington, D.C. They were built to honor some famous Americans like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Martin Luther King Jr. Thanks for letting me share my trip with you. Maybe one day you'll get to see some of these places in person. Remember to take a lot of pictures. Thanks. See you again soon.